Hi, good afternoon. Just want to extend my love and compassion to all of you and show my appreciation for taking the time out of your day to be with me so I can share my thoughts and um, my understanding of what's going on in this moment. And I call this the Great Awakening. I'm calling what is happening now, and I'm talking just specifically about the United States. I live outside Minneapolis, very, very, very close to Minneapolis. This is the Great Awakening of the human species. For far too long, we have allowed ourselves to live in the shadows. We have allowed ourselves to live with complacency and disassociation and divisiveness. And this is not wrong, right? We have many reasons for hiding the truth from ourselves. We have many reasons for staying comfortable. We have many reasons for separating ourselves within ourselves, separating ourselves from another population, and separating ourselves from out society. So this is just part of the process of healing. So what happens is something shatters and breaks, and then you start to build it together, right? But you have to understand something's broken before you can start to fix it. And I want to be really clear. I want to encourage you all to not get distracted, right? There's lots of distractions. And I've been quiet the last couple of days because I really wanted to understand myself, and I understand my role in the Great Awakening. I'm always brought back to center that my role is to help awaken love within the individual, and awaken understanding, and make sense of a life experience, and then I can help do that on a global platform. Because I'm very, very clear that the reason I'm in physical form right now, the reason I have a body, the reason I have a voice, the reason I have my abilities is so that I can help do my part to awaken humanity to the greater whole that we've been living, comes out extreme, that we've been living a half-truth, let's put it that way. We've not been living our best selves, and we need to ask ourselves why. And there's a lot of blame going around. There's a lot of righteousness. And I'm not saying it's not wrong, because there's a lot that's wrong. There's a lot to blame. Right? The fact that someone could kneel on someone and cause their death while someone watches, that's not that thought process, that energy, that disregard for another human life, for another being, that's not new. Okay? But I do ask myself, why has this been nurtured? And you have to recognize that that feeling has been nurtured. That the division amongst one race and another race, one population, that's been nurtured. Right? It's been nurtured by ignorance. It's been nurtured by that's not mine to do. That's been nurtured by this is just the way things are. It's been nurtured by I don't have power, so who am I to change things? It's been nurtured by looking for someone else to lead you and tell you and I'm including me, but I'm just using the word we or you. We're asking for other people to lead us and tell us what's right and wrong. Okay, so there's a lot that we need to look at here. But nothing new was created this weekend or this last week with the murder of a man in Minneapolis. Nothing new was created by a toxic individual who wore a badge. And so I look around the field and I see that everybody played a part. Okay, we all played a part. And on a soul level, the part we're playing is that we're here in physical form to choose what we create next. Am I creating more love? Am I creating more division? Am I going to pay attention to the rioting instead of the cohesiveness that's coming together in these communities? Am I going to blame another group? This gets really complicated because all these statements are true. But when I sat down this morning and I asked, what is my role and what do I need to focus on? It's focusing on unity. And the image and the thought I got was, Mr. Rogers used to tell people, if you're a little person, look for the helpers. And if you're a big person, be a helper. So in this moment, look for unity. Be the unity. Your actions and thoughts are so, so important. Okay? And what I do in my work as an individual is I work with individuals to find the parts within them that aren't resonating with love, the parts that lie to them, tell them they're not worthy or loving or generous or kind, or that the world doesn't, the world's against them, or family's not working, or all the things that we have to deal with as an individual. That's the microcosm. Now we're looking at the macro, right? They're the exact same things. But in order to see what's not working, what's not resonating with love, you have to look things in the eye. So questions I want to know, and the answers I want to know is, what value is there? What purpose is there to create? What is the reason? Or why are we comfortable with having separation of population and separations of races? I'm not really here to give you an answer right now. Maybe I will by the time I'm done talking, but I want you to question it. Okay? I want to know why. I do know why. I do know why things are coming up perfect right now, because we've chosen this. We've chosen this to be our, we've drawn a line in the sand. We can no longer go about business the way we have been. And so as a collective I'm watching my words carefully again here. There's a consciousness on the planet right now that, again, there's two consciousness because we're merging into higher consciousness. So one consciousness is, leave things as they are. Don't make me look at what's really in front of me. Don't let me see the ugly. Don't let me see where I'm not taking control of my life or what I'm participating in. Then there's another great divide up here. Very conscious, very aware of what's going on. Make moment to moment decisions and choices to affect the greater whole. Again, I want to keep this really human. So I'm very careful. I do not want to get on a soapbox. But the individual has to look at why was this comfortable to not notice and see. So on a very real human platform, I'm going to just keep it really human for a moment, is we've had, it amazes me that I live in Minnesota, a very progressive state. We're known for being progressive. We're known for being forward thinking. And this is actually a great example of duality, because we have, mixed race marriages where that's not an oddity. We have supposedly progressive education, but we also have a system where things get hidden a lot, right? So what I wonder is how can we have, I'm being really careful here because I don't want to spark more, but I want to encourage, I just want you to encourage to think outside the box a little bit, right? and then to participate. So one, we need to understand in black person's perspective, right? And understand what white privilege is, that we have to think differently. Good, Lori, keep going, honey. Right? But I want to, so once you understand that, right? So once you have to understand that my experience is not different. My experience is not the same with someone else's. And I can't dismiss someone else's experience because I don't understand it. That's my job, to ask more questions, right? And there's lots of people posting about white privilege and stuff, so I don't want to go, I'm not going to it's not that it's not important, right? But you have lots of sources for that. I want you to really think about what it means to be part of a race, and I mean the human race, right? To be part of a race where you're not recognized as being part of that, or being valued on that. And break it down to small. You can be recognized, I don't belong in my family doesn't treat me right. And then I'm not equating the two. I'm just trying to get it to this is how we heal ourselves, is by starting the individual, and that's how you start to heal a nation, and you start to heal the globe. But what I wonder is, and maybe this is my soapbox coming out, but I wonder how you can look things in the eye and not notice them. I wonder how you can be, and I know the answer. I know why you can distance yourself from the truth, because it's easier, it's less painful. You don't have to be responsible. And I'll just, to make it clear, because I know I'm not always clear, and I'm trying not to throw anybody under the bus. That's why I'm hesitating on it. But for a police officer, for instance, right? And we're just going to stay in the Minneapolis community. It appears we have a union, and there's lots of help with this here today. It appears we have a president of the police association of the union who's more interested in doing his job as a union rep, a union president, and protecting officers who have no business being a police officer. Now I get that that's his job, right? But that's not good enough. We have to go beyond what we've already done. His job as a human is to say, these rules don't work anymore. And these may be bylaws, but I'm going to change those bylaws, right? Now his job on a soul level, that's not his job. His job on a soul level is to keep creating divisiveness for whatever reason. His job on a soul level is to keep creating that I'm right, that there's rules we follow, right? And then I look at the officers, I think, why do you keep voting in for a union president that covers up atrocities, mild to the very extreme, like we saw with George Floyd? And don't you recognize that by discounting that, not recognizing that causes more harm? And that's why we relate back to the individual, because not looking at my stuff, if I can't deal with my hurt and my pain, it comes out sideways. And then it hurts someone else. If I'm living with a spouse that doesn't call me on my atrocious behavior, or my snarky remarks, or whatever it may be, however I deal with my pain, deal with the humor or anger, whatever, it doesn't matter. If I don't have somebody calling me on that and helping me see that the dishonesty within myself, it expands and creates more. So this isn't about blame, it's about recognizing and understanding that what we do affects everything. So my question is, the police officers who keep voting in, and this is assumption, I did not research this, so take it for what it is. I'm just going from my heart, but it is we know this union person's been in office for a very long time. So why those police officers? Is it just, I don't know. I don't know why. So we all have to take responsibilities for what we help create, and we're all help creating this. And absolutely, Linda, we all, hey Haley's, We all fear change, right? So that's what this is about. That's why it's so extreme, because we do fear change. But why do we fear change? And why do we think someone else has a better answer than us? And not only do we fear change, but I want people to question is, why does it feel within us someplace? Why does it feel better to have someone else have control over us, or have, I know that sounds extreme, but why does it feel better to not think for ourselves, maybe? It comes down to being responsible. If I make my own decisions and I go against the grain and I go against the conventional wisdom, right? There's maybe some fallout from that. Again, I'm not giving answers, I'm just asking questions. But I really wanted to know what my role was in this. My role is the same, to keep creating unity and keep creating love. But I do want you to be aware that not everything is exactly as it looks. Not everything is exactly as it's shown in the media. That we absolutely have to start seeing things. We have to see the divisiveness and the hatred that's there. There's hatred amongst us, right? And maybe the extreme hatred and this extreme, it's not even hatred, like what we witnessed with that police officer. It wasn't even hatred, it was just total disregard. It was just so, really, I don't even have words for it. But it is perhaps not that far a stretch vibrationally. We talk about vibrations. To go to, I'm thinking of the right word, to just not be engaged at all. Not in my backyard, doesn't matter. I'm not experiencing, doesn't matter. I just keep going about my own life. So what we're doing, the Great Awakening, is we're starting to recognize what's already here. We're starting to recognize what other people have been experiencing. But I also wonder the value of this is probably the perfect example of what we're going through right now, duality. The end of duality, focusing on, and I do not want this to be taken the wrong way, but it's going to be taken however you take it, and I'll be responsible for what I say. By focusing on it's not quite ready yet. So what we do focus on is that people have different experiences than us. And that if we can't understand the experience because we haven't walked in that shoe, it's now up to us to dig deep and start to understand. To pull out your compassion, pull out your empathy, start pulling off blinders, start say this is enough. You can just say, my whole entire self, my conscious and my unconscious being, I'm done participating where love is not the reigning consciousness. And you keep doing more of that. And I want to be really clear that you have to make your own decisions on how you participate in this. Some will be called to become activists. Some will be called to start using their voice. Some will be so outraged and so angry that they take action, right? That's a good thing. It's just dig deep, understand yourself, and go and just keep asking questions. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? I know personally for me, my way of participating, one small way of I participate in this is I don't pay attention when I go to vote. I don't know Attorney General. I mean, I don't really pay too much attention to Attorney General or city. I don't live in a city, so I'm not looking at when I'm not voting for I don't vote for Minneapolis County Attorney or anything like that. But I do have other things. I could vote for my county attorney. What's their voting record? How do they handle things? So this is a lot. This is a lot to talk about and express. And I think I'm probably getting a little long-winded here. But I wanted to remind us that you are all conscious beings. You're here with your soul's mission. Your soul mission is to be a part of this great review, this great reveal, this great transformation. Our agreement is that we are unifying this planet. That doesn't mean we all have the same experience. It means we start to understand each other's experience as being different than ours, but all worthy. That we're done separating the races, the people, we're just done with separation. But you have to acknowledge what is before you can create something new. So in this moment, I acknowledge there's an entire population on this planet that is not seen and heard. And right now we're focusing on African Americans. And even that's a separation, right? So, but it gives an identifier as to what the person's experience was and is. And as we know, things stay in our DNA. So until you heal, it stays in the DNA. And I'm gonna just cut it now because I need to do a separate YouTube with Galactics coming in to talk about this a little bit. And I really wanted to get on and keep it to one thought. That's just really hard for me to do. I have a hard time keeping it to one thought. I'm just looking at my notes really quick, see if there's anything I missed. I didn't really want to get across today. I appreciate you being with me. Just keep asking yourself questions. What is my role? How have I participated? And what will I do to create change? Again, you do it with love. You do it with love for yourself, and you do it for love for someone else. And I see you all, so I know you're doing that. Oh, one last thing. And I did write it down. But I do see you. I understand you, and I hear you. But I want you to revert that a little bit into what do you see about yourself? What do you understand about yourself? What do you hear about yourself? Full clarity allows the greatest change. Thank you. I do love you. Big hugs, everybody.